political route only came after failing to organize. The olive branch was thrown away by Douglas Mwonzora because I never intended to go to court any day until he started trying to fire me. I wanted to be a card-carrying member with the others. He could run his national team. I didn't want to be the national team initially. I said, you can run your thing, but we will come back to you after consulting people. Then he started firing me. Then I said, you can't fire me because you didn't go through a process. And I had to go to court where our review case will be heard very soon to say, is he legitimate? If they say he's legitimate, maybe he goes far. But the real olive branch was like, we cannot rep this institution by keeping ourselves in leadership without being chosen from the grassroots. The grassroots will determine the future of the opposition or any other party. If you don't have those people, all these questions won't matter because you will be alone. And I don't want to be a leader of a non-participating community. And there are no people. You saw it at that other last elections. It was almost zero because in the 2 years after Mr. Mwonzora took over from the TOC, we never did any program, not even one. Not even to consult people to say, what do we do next? So how do you expect to lead an election? He has just hijacked the institution, but he's not helping the institution. But I'm not saying, I'm not judging him. It is the community that should judge him. I'm only saying, let's do what we used to do. And let's not kill MDC. MDC should never die in our eyes. Those who have seen MDC, if they think it's Mudzuri who should run it, no, it should be them. And it should be our members who should be saying, we don't want it to die. I will be out, someone will be in, but it must be an elected person who is elected by the culture of MDC. There is no need for division in the opposition sectors. But there is division because there is confusion. You don't just follow each other because you want to beat Mnangagwa. I don't just follow a person because I must beat Mnangagwa. I must follow a person because I believe that this person, when we are together, we are going to deliver as I said, the political, social, economic goods. I can't follow a person who will represent Gono after all the stealing he was doing. Then I say he's my leader. What am I trying to say? Just because I want to beat Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is Zanu, and we are talking of opposition. Opposition must be doing the right things that will make voters appreciate their president. So don't just do an opposition for the sake of opposing. It's useless to be in opposition and get the country and fail to deliver the real goods that people expect. This economy is not easy. It doesn't need fools. It needs people who really think and with proper policies to change the economy. The economy is down. So I really respect your question. But it's up to all the opposition leaders to start talking to each other. When you talk, you must meet in minds. Any one of us can lead, but you must look at the leadership and assess it. You know what we call politics of disgruntlement is not enough. It must be politics of disgruntlement plus proper processes that can ensure delivery of the expectations of the people. As a greetings to all press members and our followers out there. I think you are all aware of the situation now in Zimbabwe. We are all going towards elections. There is a serious challenge around the MDC portfolio, and this is what we just want to share with you and also all those who are members of the MDC, which was formed by our esteemed President, Morgan Richard Tsvangirai. I'll read the statement, then we can chat around it. We are here on behalf of the bona fide members of the MDC-T who are determined to see the restoration of the movement for democratic change to its days of glory when it was under the able leadership of our late icon, Morgan Richard Tsvangirai. May his soul rest in peace. The MDC was founded on the principles of democracy, good governance, transparency, accountability, and constitutionalism. We are still committed to those principles that represents the aspirations of the Zimbabwean people. Today, the MDC is a pale shadow of its former self after successive leaders made errors either through commission or omission that led to the total collapse of the movement. The latest and most fatal battering of the movement has been under the current illegitimate leader, Mr. Douglas Mwonzora. Mr. Mwonzora has willfully and repeatedly violated the MDC constitution. He has disenfranchised the members of the party by taking away their right to decide who should lead them. According to the MDC constitution and tradition, the branch congress leads to the ward, district, and provincial congresses. The provincial assemblies then nominate candidates for national positions who are then subjected to an election of a national congress attended by official delegates, seconded to an elective congress from the lower structures in terms of the party constitution. The outcome of such a process gives legitimacy to those appointed to positions after such a congress. Mr. Mwonzora and his illegitimate team have attempted to expel many of the founding members of the party for the sole crime that we disagreed in the undemocratic manner in which leadership of the party was to be chosen. We got protection of the law, and to this day we are still proud members of the movement for democratic change, Tsvangirai, although disagreeing and not taking the leadership of Douglas Mwonzora. This realization and commitment to the people's movement that the bona fide members of the MDC-T have decided to rise to defend the party and its founding principles and values. In that regard, we democratically constituted a team that has been consulting structures throughout the country. The current structures have been very clear on the following areas. That the purported Congress held on the 18th of December 2022 was fatally flawed to the extent that structures considered it a nullity and demanded that Douglas Mwonzora must step down to allow structure formation from branch, ward, district, and province in preparation for a legitimate Congress. It is these structures that will elect their councillors and parliamentary candidates, as has been our culture in the MDC. I can confidently announce to the members and the public that this process is already at an advanced stage. They agreed to launch a community-driven initiative, Buruka Movement, electing people to abandon the Mwonzora directionless leadership and join the movement for restoration of the democratic change. They affirmed the position that the leadership in MDC is chosen by the grassroots through the lower level structures and not by one individual and his elite friends. The structures in full support of the court application were filed challenging the presidency of Mr. Douglas Mwonzora as president of the MDC-T. As mentioned earlier, the party will soon finish the mobilization, structure and restructuring process and an authentic Congress will be held early enough to allow us to fully prepare for the harmonized elections. We therefore appeal to all party members out there in Zimbabwe and in the diaspora to remain calm, united, and actively participate in the restructuring process, taking cognizance of the fact that the 2023 harmonized elections are only a few months away. The reinvigorated MDC will win these elections and form the next government and deliver the change in Zimbabwe. Without that, the opposition remains unorganized and might not make it in this election. Chinja maitiro chinja, chikula izenzo. That they go back to what Zimbabweans expected out of MDC. Once they do that, they become the MDC that can win an election. The rest is not MDC if it's not coming together. Mwonzora has done a coup by doing a Congress which is not according to the Constitution. So he's not the leader. I'm neither the leader as well. I'm saying we must come together. We are reconstructing MDC to make sure that they choose a leader. So I'm not confirming any spirit. I'm confirming my thinking and the team of MDC and the recommendations that came from the people who have been consulting to what they are expecting MDC to do. And that's what we are doing. That goes to answer his question. We'll be ready for elections. Our purpose is to go for elections. And we want to do those elections. Unless and until we are organized, we might fail to meet the target, but we want to meet the target. We might lack a number of things, resources and other things to meet the target. But once we meet the target, then we participate in the election. You can't go to an exam when you have not prepared for it. So if we discover that we have not done enough, it is the members themselves who determine that they are going for elections. And we are saying, let them prepare and even have candidates ready whom they are choosing per ward, per parliament, per district. Our constitution defines a ward as those boundaries that are determined by the national elections. That's a ward. And then a district is constituted by those boundaries that are elective for parliamentarians. So those are the boundaries we use, and they have not changed. They remain just around 210. We have 210 districts. Those who will be ready, who have done their structures, cannot fail to go for elections just because Douglas Mwonzora has run away. They can continue to go for elections.
Yes.
The journalist, it should appeal to people who are organized. How can we appeal when they are not organized? As we organize and become what used to be good to the people, what people saw in MDC, if they see it in us, then they will appeal. You can't follow a disorganized institution. And I will tell you, we talked about it in our last press conference, that we must preserve institutions. We must preserve this MDC. Why? Because it's the main institution that has stood the ground against Zanu-PF. And it has had reasonable principles. But the leaders that have been coming have chosen to go astray and leave this MDC as it demands us to do. Those constitutions which we are given are meant to be followed. I'll give you an example of Douglas is going to court saying Zanu has not done this. Yes, it is right, it is correct to say they have not followed enough on the delimitation process. But did he follow his own constitution in him becoming a president? People just talk. We want politicians who deliver. the political, social and economic goods. The political good is making sure that you deliver the democracy first in your institution. So if you cannot deliver the democracy in your institution, how do you expect to deliver it in the national institution?
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.